Hello, my beloveds. It's January, it's 2026, and these are your moon soul messages for this first full moon of 2026, a full moon in Cancer. And I know that it's been a little while. I missed a week. I took a week off with the holidays, and it's my son's birthday. It was my son's birthday on December 30th. He turned 9, and we got sick. I had a cold. I didn't really have a voice, so I just was like, okay, this is a perfect invitation. Like sometimes I feel like Spirit, if we don't take breaks on our own, that our bodies, Spirit, universe, source, like creates the opportunity for us to take those breaks and force us into pauses. And it was actually really mostly easy. I had a little bit of my like inner voice saying, oh, you should do it anyway or record anyway, and feeling like I didn't do the thing. But for the most part, I felt really good about the decision and the choice to not do the moon soul messages that week. As you probably can see in the reflection here, there's snow on the ground, but you may also hear the dripping that is happening because it is warm enough that the snow is sadly melting right now. We want to be out playing in the snow, but it's just like wet and ick right now. So it's been a little bit of a bummer. I am feeling right now, I'm feeling that like sort of like anxious excitement about this next year, 2026, this 10 year, and what it's going to hold for us all and what it's going to be asking of us. I don't know what 2025 was like for you, but for me and my family, 2025 was like so different than what we were anticipating. There was a lot of death and loss, a lot of grief in this year, less movement in some aspects of our lives that we were expecting, and then more movement in others. But I'm feeling hopeful and excited for what's to come. And today I have chosen to draw cards from the Herbal Astrology Oracle from Adriana Egales. I'm holding the cards here in my hand. I have not drawn the cards. Like with these extended full moon messages, I draw them as we are speaking here. And I also didn't do a long version when I was in Ghost Ranch. So it feels like it's been a few weeks since I did that. And I'm realizing that I really appreciate doing both, that I feel like doing this longer version, that not as many of you watch it, but I find that taking this time to draw these cards live and speak through them one time allows me to give like a mini moon soul messages much more succinctly and in a way that I feel good about. So yeah, I also am choosing to not publish a podcast today on the full moon because I need a little podcasting break. I am a one-woman show over here, and as much as I love a lot of aspects about that, I also just need some time to pause and be and center and plan and so from someone who's sort of a perfectionist, and even though it's like only me, like no, I'm my own boss here, I hold my own self accountable, but are there times, I'm curious for you, like where you also have those like shoulds? And of course it's good to be disciplined and do the things that, accomplish our goals, and yet at the same time finding also the appropriate times to let some of those goals fall away and shed that and let it be. Speaking of which, I've seen lots of people posting about how we're in the year of the fire horse now, and we are not the year of the fire horse, the year of these animals like the wood snake. It's to do with the Chinese zodiac, and the lunar, and they go not by the Gregorian calendar year, but by lunar new year. So it's not till February 17th, which is the second new moon after the winter solstice. So hold your horses. It's not time for the fire horse energy yet. So if that feels like, a lot right now, it's because it's actually not quite time to be in that fire horse energy. Although I feel the anticipation of it. I feel like I'm excited for it, for that like galloping forward, for the fire, for the horse energy. And yet I can also feel that there is still more to be shed right now. There is still that slithering snake and shedding of things that no longer serve us. And sometimes shedding things, having to let go of things we don't want to let go of. Like sometimes we want to let go of things and other times we don't. But it's an important practice to let go. Okay, so I am wanting to draw the first card here. And normally for these messages, I close my eyes, I kind of shuffle the cards, and then I feel for the one that is the right card. So, and I'm going to draw all three and then I'll speak to them. Because for me, it helps me to see all three, and that helps me to know, or just like to be, I don't know, it helps me to look at them all together. And then that, as I pause and I ask Spirit to speak through me, it gives me a moment and her a moment to share and feel into what like the arc of the message is here. So 43, passion flower, surrender. And it's all blue. How beautiful. I'm realizing that my jacket is maybe a little soundy, but it's so cold out here. So I hope that doesn't bother you too much. Let me know if it's really bugging you. Because I really do enjoy doing these messages outside, and when I can like look upon, like, so my view is basically like what you see behind me, but forward. There's beautiful fields. I see our labyrinth out there. Snow, trees, homes. Yeah. Okay, what's next here? Mandrake, sensuality. Ooh, yes. And also this like purpley blue. How was your closing of 2025? Was 2025 a hard year for you? Was it a magical year? I know some people are saying 2025 has been like the best year of their lives, and I love that as well. Of course, we're not all gonna have like the same type of year. 14, hibiscus, joy. What sweet cards for this full moon in Cancer. So, passion flower, surrender. Surrender to the ebb and flow. I love that there's this moon, and it almost looks like it dripples down into this bowl that she's holding that is then overflowing into a bowl in her lap right near her pelvic bowl, which we all have these pelvic bowls. And she has this her eyes are closed, but she has this light smile in her face. And this is making me think of how, as humans, it's so normal for us to want to control. And we have some capability to control things. There are things that we can control in our life. And yet there are many things that are uncontrollable, like things that we actually don't have control over. And you may have heard, what is her name? I'll have to hopefully put it down here if I can remember her name. Glennon Doyle. She speaks about like the 3 businesses that we can be within in our daily life. And the business of God or source or whoever that power is for you. That's one type of business. The other type of business is other people's business. And then the third type is our own business. And so everything in life can be divided into these categories. And so much of the time we're in other people's business or God's business, trying to control and not surrender. And this feels like such a beautiful message about surrendering to what is. So rather than being in the pain or the worry about what is not, maybe something that's unfolding in your life that you are not happy about, that you don't want to happen, and yet it's actually not something that you have control over. Can you find a way to make peace with what is, to surrender and be with what is? Because that is all there is here to be with right now. You actually can't be with what isn't, with what you wish would be or what you hoped would be. Can you make peace and let go of the ways that you thought things would go, or an experience that you wanted to have that you didn't get to have? This is an invitation to surrender and let go. Hmm. 45, Mandrake, Sensuality. I'm like, how do these two connect right now? I'm not feeling the super connection to them, but I'm feeling that this beautiful root in the shape of a woman's body, with her head being these flowers and the moon and it's blue and the word sensuality, it makes me really think about this invitation into our own bodies. A lot of us only consider or think about ourselves being sexy or sexualized from another person's gaze. And yet, can we have a deeper relationship with our own bodies? This body that you're in right now has been with you since you were in your mother's womb. Think of all the steps that your feet have taken, all of the words your mouth has spoken. This body that has never forsaken you continues to stay with you for however many years it is that you have been here on this planet, in this body, in this lifetime. And I have over the years developed a deeper practice of sensuality and a pleasure practice. And if you don't know what those things are, maybe you want to look them up a little bit. And remember that sensuality, sensuality isn't sex, right? They're two different things. And yes, they're similar, and there can be sensuality within sex, but they're not quite the same. And I feel like with this card, this is inviting, in this cozy time right now here in the Northern Hemisphere where it's colder, what would it be like if you took some time to be by yourself and explore, what type of touch do I like? What type of sensual, I can't do it to my whole arm right now. I just have my hand's exposed here. Do you prefer stronger, deeper pressure? Or do you like that finger light touch? And what sorts of clothing makes you feel sensual and cozy? Or what sort of environment? Do you like to be in the shower or the bath or candles? And can you give your own body and your own self sensual touch and love? And what might that feel like to be sensual with your own skin, with your own self, and how magical that might feel to just even for 5 minutes, maybe even 1 minute, if it feels challenging to do this practice. What could it feel like just for 1 minute to be here with your body and feel sensual touch? If you're trying it out right now, I would love to hear how it feels in the comments. And let's move along to this last card. 14, hibiscus, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Ho, ho, joy. She's almost like whispering joy out of her lips with these little swirls here. Joy, just like love, just like anger, just like pretty much every emotion you can think of, I believe we have access to it at any time that we would like to. And we only must pause all the doings and distractions and the scrolling. And can you pause for a moment and feel into joy? And what does that feel like? What does that sound like? What does that look like for you? What could it look like for you? And yeah, maybe you're in a bad mood, and is your bad mood for a reason? Is it for no reason? Like, if you can be in a bad mood for no reason, you can also be in joy for no reason, okay? Except I know that there are reasons for you to be joyful. There are reasons for us all to be joyful. And yeah, maybe it's not like the big J joy, but like a little J joy. Like even just knowing that you have hot water to take a shower or to wash your dishes in, that you have a cozy, warm bed to sleep in. Can you find joy in those small moments, and can you extend the joy? Can you breathe into the joy? Can you feel into the joy that is accessible in your daily life? Find the joy, be the joy, spread the joy. Surrender to what is. Remember that you are a sensual, beautiful being, and that you can offer yourself sensual, meaningful, loving touch. And don't forget to find those moments of magic and joy that are possible every single day. Joy isn't just for special occasions. It's for everyday freaking life. Okay? What if today is the most joyful day of your whole year? Could it be? Might it be? And if you want your own intuitive reading from me, just check out the links in my bio, and I would love to do a reading just for you.